I got it right here, but I didn't do it through. See. The problem is, how many do we need? We need to know how many for each board. We need a list of.
Set them up for success.
All right, I'm gonna go in the office and just pray.
Okay. Call the board meeting to order. Let the record show that Aldermen are present except for Alderman Blackman, who is absent. At this point, Ms. Papania will lead us in the invocation and Mr. Eby in the pledge. Please stand.
Excuse me. Lord God in heaven above, we thank you for allowing us to meet tonight in this great community. May our meeting tonight be positive and productive for all our citizens. We offer our prayers for all amongst us who are sick, especially those that are homebound and suffering from serious illness. May you be with them and their families. God, we're going to take a moment of silence for one of our employees who has passed away in the street department, Martin Hubbard. A moment of silence. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Need a motion to approve the amended agenda. Motion by Mr. Hippie, second by Ms. Burgess. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. We have a presentation, but we also have a proclamation. I'm going to read the proclamation first, and then we'll go to the presentation.
Whereas Parks and Recreation is an integral part of communities throughout this country, including Ocean Springs. It promotes health and wellness, improving the physical and mental health of people who live near parks. And whereas Parks and Recreation promotes time spent in nature, which positively impacts mental health by increasing cognitive performance and well-being, and alleviating illnesses such as depression, attention deficit disorders, and Alzheimer's. Whereas Parks and Recreation encourages physical activity by providing space for popular sports, hiking trails, swimming pools, and many other activities designed to promote active lifestyles. It is a leading provider of healthy meals, nutritional services, and education. And whereas Parks and Recreation programming and education activities such as out-of-school time programming, youth sports, and environmental education are critical to childhood development. It increases community economic prosperity through increased property values, expansion of local tax base, increased tourism, the attraction and retention of businesses, and crime reduction. And whereas our parks and natural recreation areas ensure the ecological beauty of our community and provide a place for children and adults to connect with nature and experience outdoors. And whereas the U.S. House of Representatives has designated July as Parks and Recreation Month, and whereas the City of Ocean Springs recognizes the benefits derived from parks and recreation resources. Now therefore, I, Kenny Holloway, Mayor of the City of Ocean Springs, do hereby proclaim the month of July Parks and Recreation Month.
Mayor,
want to take a picture of
have
Steve?
those guys come up. These guys are all here from Parks and Rec. Get them up there.
Yeah, good luck one's in front.
That looked like a pretty good softball team right there.
Or you just when you hold it up front.
I want to take a second to brag on not only the people that are here, but the people I'm fortunate enough to work with. Working for Parks and Recreation is not just a job for these guys. It's their passion, they're invested in it. They make it look really good, but they go over and beyond. You know, Mayor and Board, I appreciate what y'all do to invest in Parks and Recreation. Y'all not only talk about it, you know, y'all make it happen. Let's be honest. You know, y'all always make Parks and Recreation a precedent in Ocean Springs. But going back to these guys, coming back into town today, what they're doing, 100-degree heat, weed eating, cutting grass, picking up trash, doing everything else, making Parks and Recreation look good. But guys, I appreciate every day what y'all do, and I'm very lucky, very grateful to have y'all work with us.
Thanks, Dave.
Very well deserved. Our next item on the agenda is Mr. Rodney Mooney is going to make a presentation about two historical markers.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me today. Super excited to present some news and findings that I think you'll all be interested in. Let's see, is Raven here?
Raven stepped down.
Step down for a moment.
Oh, she's got
his PowerPoint.
thing. I can go ahead and let's see if it's on here. So some of this history that I'm going to present to you is incredibly important to a lot of people, not only in the Mississippi Gulf Coast, but throughout the state. And there are two markers in particular. I've traveled around Mississippi, all 82 counties, trying to promote each one, preserve history in a lot of different ways. And I was asked to come to look at the Mississippi Gulf Coast, and I've been working on this for probably about 2 years, and I found some really cool stuff that some of which I can verify today and prove that no one has known for over 300 years. If you look here, as I'll dive right on in, this is d'Iberville's trek through the Gulf waters on his way to settling in Ocean Springs. But if you look at the peach-colored arrow off to the right, this is the part that people kind of overlook. This is Santo Domingo, which would be Haiti around back then or today. And people don't realize that he stopped there not only for provisions, but to also find a pilot that could navigate the Gulf waters because it was very dangerous. Most of us know it's very tricky, especially if you've never been, where you can sail these big ships. Not only that, the Spanish are out to find the Mississippi River too. There could be an attack. So there had recently been a pirate, if you want to go ahead and change the slide, that he picked up in Santo Domingo named Lorenz de Graaf. He's the most successful pirate of the golden age of piracy. And he was the pilot that led d'Iberville to Ocean Springs, which is very significant. There's always been rumors that it happened, but I'll show you here in a second the proof that he did. Another thing that was very interesting is that he brought 20 pirates with him. And in a document I'll show you in a second, those 20 pirates were left behind as settlers as well. So we not only had the French settlers, we had 20 pirates as our original settlers, which I think is pretty neat. If you go ahead and change the slide. So here is one passage that's important. Some of the passages I'll read just because it's the proof that this is something people haven't seen or realized. Let's see, let's get a look. He did, however, what he could for the expedition. He's talking about, let's see, giving orders to the commander at Cap Francois to furnish the ships with everything they might require. As Iberville would need a pilot, he procured for him the services of one Laurent de Graaf, a buccaneer of Dutch origin who had sailed the West Indian waters for many years. He also informed the French commander that English ships had been in the area, so he's like, there's a threat there. Here's some more proof. I have found, this is straight from d'Iberville's journals, I have found my reckoning accurate in locating this island further south in proportion to other lands. Monsieur de Graaf, who has had experience with those charts, assures me that he has taken an altitude from and above, giving 19 degrees. I won't go on too much because I'll run out of time, but as you can see, he just kind of name drops Lorenz de Graaf, about 3 times, but if you don't know who de Graaf is, you don't realize he's actually a very significant man. At the bottom is the next time d'Iberville mentions him, the Francois rowboat went too with Monsieur de Graaf. So de Graaf was the person d'Iberville would go to and say, okay, you know, where do we need to go? What do we need to do? So if you'll change to the next slide, here's a couple more evidence. Monsieur de Graaf, captain of the light frigate, has embarked with me. He has been great help, more than a perfectly good sailor. He knows all the rocks, all the ports of the country there, toward the entry of the Gulf of Mexico, having sailed the course all his life. Skipping ahead, yes. Here's a depiction of de Graaf. When you hear what he's done, you'll realize how significant this person is. It's very, 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 very exciting. I'm trying to nerd out on y'all. It's just more of what he did. Let's see. Sorry, I have a little glare here. He took personal command of the other with his brother, a light number of the rank and file, provisions for 20 days were stored in the little craft, the usual supply of arms and ammunition, 2 small cannon were taken on board to be used chiefly for firing salutes, and to complete the equipment, each boat took a canoe in tow. The men chosen for the venture were drawn almost entirely from the Canadian contingent, plus the buccaneers enlisted in Santo Domingo, who were to remain as settlers, should a suitable site be found for colony. So there you go, 20 of those settlers at the very beginning were those pirates of de Graaf. You can go ahead and change the slide. Here's a painting of Lorenz de Graaf. Why hasn't he been revealed before? Well, de Graaf is not one of the most famous names of pirates, but he was the one who inspired the Blackbeards. William Kidd, the one who has the treasure everyone looks for, was one of those under de Graaf's tutelage. He's just further back in the day. We're talking 1600s. The pirates we all know were from like the 1700s when more was being written. There's a lot of information about him that is pretty significant. The Spanish were terrified of him. He was enslaved by the Spanish as a child, and when he broke free, he said for the rest of his life he was going to steal from the Spanish and get them back. And he did numerous times. If you'll change the slide, I'll show you a little bit of what he has done. Captain Henry Morgan said he was a great and mischievous pirate. He could not catch him. At one point he stole 120,000 pesos in one of his loots, which would have been $12 million today. That's just one. He would commandeer a small ship. Now this is before he came to Ocean Springs. He would commandeer a small ship, use it to take a larger ship, use those 2 ships to take a bigger ship. Before long, he had a whole Spanish armada sailing the Caribbean. He had such a large Spanish armada that he, along with some other pirate captains, using his ships, pretended to be Spanish, sailed into Veracruz, sacked the city, and that's where the song La Bamba comes from. So he was renowned. There was a hidden lyrics that people don't know about, but that's what it was about. Change to the next slide. Most movies and TV shows you've ever seen on a pirate are based off the accolades of this man. When the pirates sailed in to save Captain Jack Sparrow, that's based off of when his fake armada sailed in and sacked the city. The beach fights between pirates, like you may have seen in The Princess Bride, was based off of his fight with the pirate. Oh goodness, I forgot his name off the top of my head. Van Oy. So numerous things. Even his ship, the Neptune, which I'm sure the crew of Neptune would be excited to hear about this, is a famous ship that even the Jolly Roger and the Peter Pan stories is based off of. So he's a very significant pirate that helped D'Iberville find and settle Ocean Springs. And until now, not many people, or no one really knows this. So I'm super excited to present this to you. If you will, change the slide. I could go on and on about it, but I just have somebody else to talk about. One of the only female pirates that's ever been historically proven to exist was his wife. He sacked a city. She pulled a gun on him, and he thought she was so tough, he called her the Amazonian warrior princess and married her on the spot. And she's described as always being on the ship with him. The stories that come from this, the marketing possibilities with these amazing pirates is just off the charts. As I explore Mississippi, I've seen Mississippi get bypassed so many times. When you think pirate history or see all of these different events, you often see Alabama, Texas, Florida, and Louisiana. This guy trumps them all. He's incredible. So we got something really good here. Go ahead and change the slide. Sorry to rush with that, two people. Yes, sir.
Just one thing about DeGraff. You had mentioned to me before that he actually settled at the fort here in Ocean Springs and stayed behind after D'Iberville moved on.
There's a huge mystery of what happened and where he stayed, because as soon as he took D'Iberville here, he disappeared. So no one knows for sure if he stayed, but the statement I showed earlier, which honestly I found a couple of days earlier, than today, it said that the 20 pirates came and settled the area. Whether he was one of them, I can't prove that he stayed behind, but he definitely led those pirates there to settle. We can't prove for sure he's there or he stayed behind, but it's likely. If you're a pirate, stay behind there as the Spanish ships go back and forth. That'd be a perfect place to hide out because his family had just been kidnapped. Here's my argument for that. His wife and children were kidnapped by the British back in Santo Domingo before he led this journey, so he would want to be in hiding. He had paid the ransom, got them back, but he had stolen so much. I mean, just amazing amounts of wealth, and upset the Spanish and the British. It'd be a perfect place to hide out with his family. Would explain why he disappeared for about 5 years there. So yeah, I would definitely argue he stayed behind. Could have changed his name even. It would also make sense why D'Iberville wouldn't go into detail about who he was too. So Jean-Baptiste Boudreaux II is the best way I could lead into this. If you've ever seen The Last of the Mohicans, he lived an amazing, romantic, crazy, important, fascinating story of a life. Many of the people in this room are related to this man. If you don't know it, you very likely are, especially if you're from old Mississippi Gulf Coast families. And I have been working, or when I started researching the area, I asked every historical society on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, what is one person or area that you wish was preserved on the Mississippi Gulf Coast? And I asked all up and down the counties. 80% of the replies was this man, who I had never heard of. So I dove into it. Obviously, he was important. So, turn to the slide if you don't mind. I'll tell you a little bit about him. Okay. He was considered a leader of many of the Native American tribes along the Mississippi Gulf Coast in the early 1700s. He was the chief translator with the tribes. Governor Bienville employed him as the protector of the Gulf Coast. He's stationed in McCat Island, he's stationed in here in Ocean Springs on the beach. Pascagoula River, every main source of water, he had a Native American contingent where he protected and looked out for Spanish or British forces coming in. So he was the protector there for a long time. Unfortunately, he was, a lot of really terrible things were done to him or happened to him, some of which was because he was half Native American and not fully accepted by a lot of the French government at the time. One historian said had he been in a different time, he would have been Davy Crockett, Jim Bowie, Daniel Boone type character. Let's see. His mother was said to have come from a great Native American chief. If you will, turn the slide. These are passages where it shows how important he was. I'll just sum them up. Basically, at one point, the French government were trying to arrest him. He was falsely accused for a couple of things. And because he had so much power with the Native American tribes, that they arrested him. And the Native American tribes said, okay, well, we're not going to trade with anyone anymore. You have to release him. So he was incredibly important to the Native American population up and down the Mississippi Gulf Coast, and especially here. Turn the slide. I made every possible effort to catch this vagabond, but he has eluded me so far. This man would be especially dangerous if he went over to the side of the savages, allied with our enemies, because he is brave, resourceful, and well-liked by all the nations of his continent. At one point, King Louis XV offered the Native Americans treasure, land, anything they wanted if they would turn him in, and every one of them refused and hid him. So he was an incredibly important Native American person on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. You would turn the slide. Let's see. I can skip. Go ahead and turn the slide again. So he has a marker in New Orleans. He's one of only 2 said people in United States history to be broken by, to be killed by medieval means. He was broken on the will. If you ever saw Braveheart, like William Wallace was killed, he was killed like that. Just dismembered, parts thrown into the Mississippi River. Just horrible. And from what everyone agrees on, he was falsely accused. He had become too powerful. The Native Americans supported him too much, and he resisted some of the French at the time. Well, there's a marker there in New Orleans about his death. There's even a marker in Alabama about his birth, because he was, even though that was disputed today. I spoke with the local Live Oak, Van Cleve Choctaw tribe today, and they disputed it. But anyway, they have a marker in Alabama, but there's no marker for him in Mississippi where he actually lived. And what he did for the citizens here was incredibly profound. And what I found about him, I asked the Mississippi Band of Choctaw, who I'm working with in Philadelphia. I've asked the local Native American tribes all the way from the Homa to our tribes here. I said, would this matter to have a marker for this man now? And they said it would mean more than you know. He said, this person is significant, he's us. He would be our representation, it would mean more than you know. I was like, okay, I'm going to continue to pursue it. That's the marker on the left for him in New Orleans. Again, he just was killed there. It's not about the good that he did. It's just about what happened to him, which was horrible and unjust. He deserves a marker talking about his life. He was the chief translator for everyone down here. All of the Native American tribes, I'm talking 7 to 8, all along the Mississippi Gulf Coast, all the way up the state of Mississippi. 3 of those tribes saw him as their leader, a leader for 3 different tribes. Yet all we have is a marker about his death in New Orleans and nothing in Mississippi. So, if you'll change the slide, there's a lot of different things at the very least, I think it would be amazing if we could do a historical marker for both. One for Pirate de Graaf. It's a very significant thing that we have proof of. And another for Bedroe II, who is, whose descendants live here. And if you were to go online and see his family, there are social communities who talk about this man. He's a heroic member from this community's past. Obviously, there's a lot of different things you could do. Y'all know what all the stuff you could do, but that's pretty much it.
Thank you, Rodney. And thank you for coming by and presenting this to the board. We, and you talked to me a few weeks back, and that's why I wanted you to bring this in front of the whole board, because, I mean, it is very interesting stuff, and I would like to ask this board to entertain, you know, we can ask the county, we can ask the state, move forward with getting the historical markers for Ocean Spring. If the mayor wouldn't mind moving forward with that. And let's see, you know, maybe we unveil them at our next 1699 reenactment or before.
Yeah.
But I would like to work with you and get the correct verbiage on the markers, of course, and move forward. And I can make that in the form of a motion if I need to, or if we just all agree to move forward in that direction. I'm fine with that.
There's all the grants too, can't we?
Yeah, as I say, you can research all of
How
that.
much do the archives and his?
100,000 plus.
Yeah, just make it.
Well, I'll make that in the form of a motion that we move forward with pursuing the historical markers in whatever manner we can come up with the funds, whether it be state, county, city, or grant money.
I'll second.
Motion
I'll
by
second
Mr.
it.
Cox. Motion by Mr. Cox, second by Mr. MP. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Thank you very much. Very interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is agenda public comment. Public is invited to address the board up to 3 minutes each for a maximum period of 30 minutes, only regarding issues listed on this agenda. Please identify yourself and the agenda item before speaking. Okay, moving on to old business. First item is motion to adopt an ordinance amendment to the Ocean Springs Code of Ordinances to revise Chapter 14, Article 5. This is the golf cart ordinance, right, Rick?
Yeah, that's the one that we presented last meeting and it's up for tonight.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we adopt the ordinance to revise Chapter 14, Article 5.
Motion by Mr. Aldermen,
Second.
second by Ms. Burgess. Any discussion? I need a roll call, please.
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Next item is adopt an ordinance amending Chapter 21, Article 1 to add Section 21-3.2 regarding pedestrian safety. Anybody have any questions, or is there a motion?
I'll make the motion that we adopt the ordinance amending Chapter 21, Article 1 to add Section 21-3.2 regarding pedestrian safety.
Motion by Mr. Aldermen,
Second.
second by Mr. Wade. Need a roll call, please.
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Next item is adopt an ordinance and amendment to prescribing the new charges for water and sewer services. Anyone have any questions?
New charges for water and sewer services. What's our new
Well,
charge?
this basically just affects the annex area, Sunplex and those areas that have come into the,
Correct.
We're adjusting that water bill to be a little bit more acceptable expense-wise. Okay, is there a motion?
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
Motion by Mr. Cox, second by Mr. Aldermen. Need a roll call?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
aye.
Aye.
I'm sorry, who made the motion and seconded?
Bobby.
Thank you.
Okay, motion carries. Okay, moving on to appointments of commissioners. We have open spots on the Planning Commission, the Historical Preservation Commission, the Zoning and Adjustment Board. Building Board of Adjustment and Appeals, and the Cemetery Board. Patty, you want to talk about that before we get going here?
We're gonna put the cemetery board aside for right now.
That's what I'm letting Patty.
That's fine, we haven't, over the last few years, we were trying to get cemetery stuff lined out, so we haven't really ever met with the last people that was appointed. I'd like to make sure, I've tried to reach back out to the one person, I felt like they wanted to serve and hadn't really had an opportunity. And so they're going to, and I think they're actually, we just need to review it before we move forward with it.
Okay. So we're not going to do the cemetery board at this point. So first one we'll take is the planning commission.
Mayor, I'll make a motion if you don't mind. Can I make it all in one motion?
Are we gonna, okay.
Or we can discuss if you want to discuss. I mean,
No, I didn't know if we were gonna vote on it or just,
I just know we have, we're trying to get one representative for each ward. Is the goal on the planning commission, is what we've always tried to do. And I've heard some feedback, so I just wanted to, I was gonna move forward with Marshall Johnson, Nicholas Geiser, and Sean Cincinnati on the planning commission. That would make sure all wards are represented.
But that's not a motion, not.
Yeah, that would be 1, 5, and 3.
Well, I have a question. So, did we advertise that way? I mean, when we advertised for applications, did we indicate that we were looking for applicants from Ward 3?
No, we were advertising for.
So when we advertised, we kind of advertised them all at the same time, but we did put the comments that people from those wards would be given priority because of the way the ordinance is written.
Okay, I was just there.
Any other questions? Got a motion by Mr. Cox,
Second.
second by Mr. Wade. Any other discussion?
well, no, I guess not. Are we doing one or all three?
Well, I was just making a motion for all 3. We can do one at a time if you want, but maybe or. I figured making one motion would just make it easier. I'm game for whatever y'all want to do, but that was my motion.
So we got a motion and a second.
Repeat that motion, please.
It was Ward 1, Marshall Johnson, Nicholas Geiser, Ward 5, and Sean Cincinnati, Ward 3.
Well, I appreciate trying to have the one from each ward, but I thought Andy Phelan's previous member, he's done a good job on the board, and so.
Well, he'll continue, as I read it, the fact that.
No, he's one of the, he's
on.
inspired.
He is your chairman also.
He is the chairman of the commission, yes.
I don't understand the motion, you want him to add 3.
Let's do this, Bobby, if you don't mind. Let's go, you want to just do one at a time?
That's fine. I mean, I'm totally fine with that.
Okay, let's just,
Mayor, you gonna start at the top and go down, is that what I'm hearing?
But you just gotta make a motion. We can all just vote on a piece of paper if you want, turn it in and have a tally. That's fine with me.
Or we can all,
But basically, you gotta rescind my motion.
well, you'd have to
So
rescind.
y'all have to rescind it, right?
Yep.
We just. Well, we have a motion and a second. Bobby would have to rescind his motion. He doesn't want to rescind.
I would just, yeah, I mean, we can
So,
vote it in,
we can
vote it
vote it in,
out.
vote it out at this point.
Did we accept this application?
Um,
I have a question. Did we accept this application after the deadline?
That application from Ward 3 came in today.
So after the deadline?
okay, but I'll leave it.
Okay, so,
Be out because
Ward 3 came in after the deadline.
yes.
I got it today.
Shouldn't even be on the list then.
Yeah, I mean, let's
Well, that's not,
table that applicant. Let's go one by one.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor.
You're gonna have to.
I can rescind my
okay.
motion. Somebody else can
Bobby
make a motion. I
rescinds his
rescind my
motion. Okay, so now. So we have 3 appointments, 3-year terms. The 2 with asterisks, Phelan and Johnson, are currently on the board. And the ward numbers are listed by the names. So, what do you suggest here, Will?
Like you said, let's take them one by one.
Okay. In order, you want to just go down the list?
I'll make, if you want to do that,
Let's just make a motion on one person at this point.
I'll make a motion, we appoint Nicholas Geiser, Ward 5.
Okay, we got a motion by Mr. Cox. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Wade. Any discussion? Let's do a roll call on these. We're clear about who's voting what.
Aye.
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 Okay, motion carries.
And I make a motion, we appoint Sean Cincinnati, Ward 3.
Now, his application came in after.
I think that one's, is that the one reading that's coming after the deadline? I think he's got to be off the list.
Got to be off the list. Okay. So his application came after the deadline.
I'll make a motion, we appoint Marshall Johnson, Ward 1.
We have a motion by Mr. Cox, seconded by Ms. Burgess. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Give me a roll call on, please, I'm sorry.
Aye.
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 Okay. Motion carries.
And then the other, I don't think we need to move on appointing because we got a ward not represented. I think we need to have a representative for Ward 3.
Okay. Does everybody feel that way? Does anybody want to make a motion, or you want to?
What do you say, Kevin?
Well, Kevin,
I think you need to have a representative for Ward 3 also.
Oh, I agree. What are you gonna do?
So you want to go out for,
I say we go out for
Re-advertise?
re-advertisement, and does that mean that Cincinnati could
Re-advertise.
He can come back,
Re-up.
re-up?
as long as he makes the deadline.
Yeah, you can get it.
Okay.
Is that informative?
Make the motion.
I mean, there is no motion. There is no motion.
I need
Okay.
a
Kevin,
motion to
Kevin to go out.
re-advertise.
Go out.
Okay, I'll make a motion to re-advertise for Planning Commission Ward 3.
I got a motion by Mr. Wade,
I'll second and
seconded by Mr. Cox. Roll call.
So we're gonna re-advertise and have all the applicants resubmit their applications
Ward
again?
three.
Only
Ward
re-advertise
three
it
only.
for
Three only.
Well, I get where you're going, but I think Andy deserves reappointment. He's done a good job. He's the chairman, he's the current chairman of the commission.
And I understand that having each ward represented is ideal, but it kind of feels like we're fitting a square peg in a round hole here. When you have someone, it's just one applicant versus multiple. And I just received it, well, okay.
Okay, so we've got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Roll call. To re-advertise, or if you don't want to re-advertise, then we'll get back into the list here.
Nay.
aye.
Aye.
Do what?
You got a representative. Shall we come with?
It's come to you. We got
We're
it.
still waiting on Mr. Papania.
Mr. Payne, the
We're
motion, the current
voting
motion is
on
to
whether we're going to
re-advertise.
re-advertise at this point.
Nay.
Nay.
Aye.
So wait,
You rigged it.
Nay. I think Andy's done a great
Make
job.
a motion to reappoint Andy Phelan.
Second that motion.
Motion by Mr. Impey, second by Mr. Papania. Any discussion? Roll call.
Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Aye.
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 Okay, motion carries. Okay, we need to,
Wrong.
moving on to HPC, we have two appointments, four-year term in July 31, 2028. We've got two people on, that have put in applications.
Make a motion to appoint Karen Tuning, Mary Stafford to the HPC.
Second that
Motion by
motion.
Mr. MP, second by Mr. Pena. Any discussion? All in favor? Roll call.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, ZAB, 3 appointments, 3-year term ending July 31st. We've got 3 applicants.
Make a motion to appoint Don Atwell, Michael Smith, and Nick Gant to the Zoning and Adjustment Board.
Second.
Motion by Mr. MP, second by Ms. Burgess. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we got Building Board and Adjustment and Appeals, 5-year term ending July 31st, 2029. 1 opening, 1 applicant, so Henry Burr.
Make a motion to appoint Henry Furr to the Building Board of
Second.
Adjustments and Appeals.
By Mr. MP, second by Mr. Aldermen. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Consent agenda.
Need to make a motion to re-advertise the cemetery board. Just some technical issues with that one.
Okay. Got a motion by Mr. MP.
Second.
Second by Ms. Burgess. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? That motion carries. Next item on the agenda is consent agenda. Anyone have anything to pull from the consent agenda?
I'd like to say something.
It's not public comment at this point. Does anyone have anything to pull from the consent agenda?
Yeah, 6C. 6P, excuse me.
Short term, what is that? Contracts on the line?
6P?
Authorize to execute engineering services.
That's O.
Sorry, yours is the previous one. I added one to it.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Okay,
So
moving
it's 6P.
6P.
P.
Is that correct?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
that's correct.
MP, yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
Make a motion to accept the consent agenda minus item 6P.
Motion by Ms. Burgess,
Second.
second by Mr. Impey. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item 6P, authorize to execute an agreement with engineering services with MP Design Group related to required utility relocations associated with MDOT project to widen Highway 90.
I just think we need to table this. That's the first I saw of it on the agenda.
Okay?
I'm fine with that. There's no rush for that anyway, is there?
You have to ask Sarah about that.
About 2026.
No, 24.
That's still 6 months.
That they have to be completely relocated, but at this point, we don't even know what needs to be relocated. So this is a standby contract, there's no guarantees. It's depending on MDOT's plans.
Sarah, can you speak up, Sarah, please?
This contract it's gonna be on an as-needed basis. MDOT's widening, there are potential conflicts with our utilities. It's their right of way, we have to move our utilities at our cost. We don't have a funding source yet. Right now, we're depending on Enterprise, I think is the right funding source. It's strictly gonna depend on when we get 100% plans from MDOT to how many conflicts there are, if there's any. And it needs to be like, I need a firm that can jump immediately.
Well, let's find out exactly what we need and then let's move forward after that.
I don't,
We don't need to do that tonight.
I won't know what I need.
I think that's the reason why we want a company that can jump and turn on a dime, is
This
because there's a lot of unknowns with this.
Yes. So this is kind of like our term contracts, but this isn't for a term contract. Basically, MDOT's gonna give me plans. I gotta figure out where the conflicts are. You're talking 800 pages of plans. So I'm gonna need assistance going through this. They're gonna pinpoint the best they can, and then it's gonna be designed, like, they're gonna design immediately and move. And that's not gonna wait on us.
Yeah, I spoke to
And this
them
has to be completed by November of this year.
They wanna advertise by November. So depending on who the contractor is and depending on what they start, depends on our rush. So I don't know any of that until this bids.
Yeah,
To get an engineering firm at that point and waiting on a meeting, it's just, it might be too much.
Too time sensitive then. So this is just having something in our pocket as a backup.
We may not have any conflicts with our plans. I don't foresee that, I do foresee conflicts.
Yeah, we're dealing with conflicts right now on their plans.
Yes.
You'll determine the conflicts, or MP will determine, or both of y'all?
Myself and MDOT will locate, and then if I need MP's assistance to determine the extent of the conflict, meaning if a sewer line has to be completely relocated, or can we just lower it? Like, I don't know until I get MDOT's 100% plans.
So,
This is kind of chasing a rabbit later on, but who's going, have we a grant to pay for this? Where's the money coming from, the city's money?
Right now, we don't have a funding source. I've reached out to MDOT since this is really their project that's causing this.
Right.
If there is funding from them. If there is, that's a whole nother ballgame with engineering because there's so many demands. But right now, I think we're gonna hope our our public works, our sewer and water funding will cover it.
this is pretty much what Pascagoula ended up going through. And they got caught off guard and ended up costing the city a lot of money.
Yes.
So, I mean, I would really like for us to be ready, but I don't think it's pressing for tonight at this meeting. We can all get brought up to speed on it, and hopefully maybe the next meeting or the next meeting bring something up, and we'll be totally fine.
I mean, you can do that. I'm not gonna have a final answer until I get MDOT's 100% plans.
Right.
Well, I have a question. So if prolonging this, to what end, Bobby? I mean, what are we hoping to
We're asking to
accomplish?
table it tonight and let it
Is
just,
there a problem with the
Well, what do you
engineering firm
what do you
not
want to
capable
be
of it, or
accomplished
what?
in the meantime?
I think it's just, he's asked to table it, and I think,
Yeah, I
I
mean,
don't see it being a problem.
this don't look like they starting next week.
No, there's no dollar
Yeah.
amount on that. It's on an as-needed basis, and it says that.
What I'm trying to understand is what's gonna happen between now and the next
What do you
meeting?
need to get up to
What's your
speed on?
expectation?
That's what my question.
For one, they'll find out what they need.
We will
But
not
they
find out
won't.
by next week. I will not know until I get 100% plans, and I can't tell you. It may be when they go out to bid. It may not be until they open bids, because they may issue addendums in the bid process. I have no answers.
I think the scary part of it is nobody knows what it could ultimately end up being. And to just hand this out to one firm without putting it out there is kind of,
Putting it out where.
instead of just putting it out to RFQs, RFPs,
We have a pool.
where you have a pool.
Yeah,
That's
that's
where it
what-
came from.
Right, but
So we've got a
we have a
pool,
committee
and
go
we've
through that
got-
pool.
Yeah,
Yes.
yes.
We've had committees go through, we've evaluated what each firm is capable and gone from there.
Right, that's why we went through that whole process. I'm gonna make a motion, Mr. Mayor, to approve item 6B.
I didn't know.
No, he didn't make a motion.
I said we'll make a motion to table.
There's already a motion on the
We
table.
made a motion first,
There's already a motion on the second.
I didn't.
Okay.
Said he wanted to table it.
What's about Will?
Who made it first?
He made the motion to table it, I second the motion.
Okay, well,
Should be tabled.
Okay, well, that's the motion on the table. Let's
call the
Okay.
question then.
Any other discussion?
Nay.
Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Aye.
Nay. Okay. Motion fails.
All right, make a motion to approve item 6P.
Second by Ms. Ampe,
Second.
second by Ms. Burgess. Any other discussion? Ms. Burgess?
Aye.
Nay.
Nay.
Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Aye. Motion carries. Moving on to department reports, anybody have anything to pull from the docket of claims?
Make a motion that we approve the docket of claims. All expenditures are appropriate and authorized by law, and spread summary on the minutes.
Motion by Mr. Aldermen.
Second.
Second by Mr. Papania. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Does anyone have any questions about the water sewer adjustments? Is there a motion to authorize the sewer adjustments?
So move.
Motion by Mr. Aldermen.
Second.
Second by Mr. Wade. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is general public comment. Public is invited to address the board for up to 3 minutes each for a maximum period of 30 minutes. Only 2 speakers will be allowed per side of each issue. Please identify yourself clearly at the podium before speaking.
My name is Dee Francis, and I live at 1518 Porter. As some of you probably know, I had to go to court recently because the city sued me for having junk in my yard. And when I said, "What junk?" I was told, I guess those cars. At the time, there were 4 cars parked there. As I think I told y'all last time, I can park 20 in my yard and do during Peter Anderson Festival. At any rate, I went to court. I have a problem with court because it's on Wednesday and I generally go to church on Wednesday. I was told to be there at 4 o'clock. My son took me. I was not heard until 9:30 that night. Now, my son is out of town, so I don't have anybody to take me tomorrow night. But the thing is, the gentleman from the city lied and testified that those cars had been there since 2018. Well, all the people who paid to park in my yard during Peter Anderson, I'm sure could tell you that those cars weren't there then. So they're not there all the time. I asked the man, I said, "Have you been by my yard lately?" Because there weren't any parked there then. He said no. Well, the judge ordered him to go. I don't know if that made it into the police report or not. What I do know is the other day I was going down Ward going home, and I went by a house that was being painted, and there were 3 cars parked in the street in the very lane that I should have been going down. And I stopped and I said, "Do those cars belong to y'all?" To the gentleman who was there, and he said, "Yes, ma'am." I said, "Well, you know, I own that property down there on the corner of Ward and Porter, and you're welcome to park there if that will help you." And he said, "Oh, no, it's okay for us to park in the street." Was it, Mr. Mayor? Because it was your house they were painting. At any rate, I don't know what to do about tomorrow night in court. I've got 2 cars parked in my yard. I understand from my son that you have to show that you can park at least 2 cars in your yard. Since I'm not living in that particular house, I've got 2 convertibles parked there, that's all. They haven't been there since 2018. Frankly, I am tired of the city aggravating me. I asked the judge, frankly, if I could sue the city, because in the past couple of years, I have been summoned and sued for having weeds in my yard, which I had to print out a printout from Amazon showing that they were selling online for $10 a plant in order to get that dropped. Then Hilliard said, he wrote me up for having a swing set. I said, "Are you telling me it's illegal for me to have a swing set?" He said, "Well, you don't need it." I said, "Look, I'm an old woman. I can't get out there and take that thing down." He said, "Oh, I've got some people that'll do it for you." And they did, and hauled it off, and also a box of metal that I had given the man that had
Thank you, ma'am.
down near the
Thank you,
stand.
ma'am. You're out of time. Thank you.
Of course I am.
Next.
James Lewis, 805 Cambridge Drive, Ward 5. I'm looking, I tried to get the attention, but I was ignored when you were going back under the old business 5D, Planning Commission. I heard names that were mentioned, but I put in a resume for the Planning Commission. And I even went online and filled it out. I even personally came down here, went right across the street, the hallway there, and gave my original copy to the young lady up there, because
the church clerk was not here at the time. And I'm trying to figure out who's on first, what's on second, I don't know who's on third, because I heard a few names, I think 3 names mentioned. And it did say that you were given priority when Ward 5 was one of those. But I never heard my name mentioned as far as consideration. So I'm trying to figure out, did my resume get thrown in the trash can or what?
Your name's on there, Ms. Lewis.
I didn't hear.
We didn't announce all the people that were applicants on there. We just, the people that were announced were the motions to put on the board. But your name was on the list.
There were several.
There were 8 total applicants, and there were 3 for Ward 5.
Ms. Lewis, you.
Okay, but the key thing is this, let's be perfectly transparent. And in transparency is that you go back in and make sure that the public are aware that you did have, these are the names that we did receive, and these are the names we did choose. Thanks so very kind, have a nice day.
Thank you, Mr. James.
Anyone else would like to address the board? Okay, moving on to Mayor and Alderman's Forum. Ms. Burgess.
Just a couple of things, Gerald. We talked about the signs for Culleoka are completed now. So we're gonna start replacing those green signs this week and next, or what kind of time frame?
Start next week.
Next week, okay. And the entrance to Culleoka is kind of overgrown. You can't see the sign, so if we can get just a weed eat. I know there's mud there, that's gonna get rectified. But in the meantime, we can cut those bushes back if that's okay. That would be great. Thank you.
I got 2 things. Gerald, one thing is the hydrant, Russell. How far off are we from getting that fixed? Did we find the valve to turn that off?
I'm hoping next week. We're chasing the ghost apparently. We have a valve somewhere in the base that's not working. So we're going every day and shutting down sections to see which one's not. I wish I could say that one's not working. I gotta go through that process, and then you gotta do it in the morning. You can't kill water middle of the day because everything's working down here. So I'm hoping next week we have the job done.
The second thing is, and for the board to know too, I know we have a lot of construction going on downtown right now, but we have another project that's starting on Wednesday, tomorrow, Thursday. The Cornerstone building on the corner of Washington and Government has some water penetration in the building envelope, and they're going to be doing 5-week construction on it. They're going to have to remove the shrubs around the building, and it's all going to be scaffold around the entire corner. And so what I would like to do is put barricades up on those parking spots that go, the few of them that are right in front. Most of the Cornerstone on that corner of Washington is that yellow anyway. You can't park on that corner. But there's so much traffic coming down that way that we're gonna have to figure out with a barricade to keep people, to have a place for them to walk and to get to the crosswalks.
How far you want to come down?
I think we're gonna have to come to Marty's parking lot on the Government Street side and go to Lemon Moeller on the Washington side, and leave an opening at the pedestrian crossing so they can cross Government.
So you want to let them walk between the barricades and the scaffolding? You want that pathway?
Yeah, they're actually putting fencing up. So there's gonna be a fencing just like at what's going on Russell and at 1515 Government Street. But that corner is so busy with shopping, we're not gonna be able to just, because there's gonna be people walking, because it doesn't even line up with the crosswalk, so people are gonna be trying to walk across to get back to the other side.
And when does it start?
Thursday, I think. They're gonna start putting the scaffold up or fencing.
And you want to block off the back part?
No, it'll be the parking spots along Government Street, the parking lot where Marty is, going that way to that corner, leaving the corner open for the crosswalks, and then on the Washington side, going in front of the whole Cornerstone.
Basically the building.
Yeah.
Basically the foot down the building.
I hate it came at this time with as much as we got going on, but the building needs to be repaired. They're gonna take all the stuck off of it. That's it.
On Bradford, 104, there's a little catch basin. Sunday night, that heavy rain. Monday morning. I didn't actually see it, but I went better Monday afternoon about 4 o'clock. It was over the sidewalk and about half of me in the street. I cleaned as much as I could. If we could get a truck to come by there and suck that catch basin out to help it drain, we greatly appreciate it. That's it.
Good, Mayor.
I've just got a motion for Public Works, Mr. Mayor. Need to make a motion to authorize filling a street laborer vacancy due to the untimely passing of Mr. Martin Hubbard.
Motion by Mr. Impey, second by Mr. Papania. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
That's all I've got.
I had a request on Richmond Street for first off, a speed bump, and said we need to go through a lot more before we just put a speed bump up. So we asked Gulf Regional Planning to put a counter on the street to give us a study for the speed study, and that's out there. I don't know, did we get any results today from that? But that's just one thing that's in the newly annexed area, so that's something we're gonna be dealing with moving forward. And we'll let y'all know that that's in the works, so we'll be discussing what to do. I don't know what they'll recommend. The other thing that I wanted to address is, I guess everybody saw my survey that was out this week. That wasn't my survey, and I want everybody to know that wasn't my survey. And there was rumor on Facebook that it was put out by this administration. It was not put out by this administration. If it was put out by this administration, it would be put out by one individual, not the whole administration. I'm a part of the administration. I just want to make sure that is clear. I'm just doing my best to be alderman at large, and the survey is saying I'm running for mayor, but we'll address that later. I just want to make sure everybody understands this administration did not spend any money on a survey.
And we did not give out any names.
Correct.
Or telephone numbers. That's right. All right, do we have anything?
Friday, 4th. Next Friday.
Not this Friday. Okay. All right.
I-26. Breakfast with the mayor is tomorrow at Guff Hills at 8 a.m. That's it.
I don't think I've got anything. All right, if that's it, we'll have a motion to adjourn until 6 p.m. August the 6th.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Impey, seconded by Ms. Burgess. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
I think what we did, took you out of this chair, card.
Oh, yeah.
He had not had a representative since he's been on this planning board, and we just gave 2 to 1 board and none to his board. So how does that fare?
Well, it's not, we got a list of candidates.